Apparently, Dolly Parton was in tears during her phone call with Jeff Bezos. The Amazon founder told her that he was going to give her $100 million, which she could donate to her choice of charities. But now people are calling Bezos' charitable donations out as another billionaire scam. In this video, we're going to get to the bottom of this and more. Stay with us. First up, that phone call with Dolly Parton. When Jeff Bezos spoke to Dolly Parton on the phone and told her he was gifting her $100 million, which she could donate to the charities of her choice, she cried. This was all a part of the 2022 Bezos Courage and Civility Award. Bezos honored her because of her philanthropic work, and as part of the award, she gets to give a full $100 million to charities she's already working with or to new ones. When she spoke to Entertainment Tonight, the Jolene singer indicated she was extremely emotional when she was told the news. Initially, she couldn't believe it. She said she cried because of the amount of good she'd be able to do with the money. Dolly Parton is 76 years old now and says she still thinks about the best charities to help and how to split the huge sum from Bezos between them. She's not bound to spend all the money in one place, nor does she have to spend it right away, but she gave a guarantee that the money would do enormous good for a plethora of needy causes, and a whole bunch of good people too. The Dollywood Foundation, Parton's charitable foundation, is a non-profit organization founded back in 1986. Initially, her focus was on child education. She also manages a book gifting program, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. In 2020, during the pandemic, she donated $1 million to assist in the funding of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. The money went to the Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Tennessee. Dolly has always maintained that she's a giving person, and that's what she would like to be remembered as. Her talent is secondary to that, she says. She wants to be able to say she's done as much as she could with what she had and do as much good as she can. Being remembered as a person with a good heart is important to her. Questions have been aired on whether Bezos is doing this to rehabilitate his rather tattered image. To get the inside track on that and more, keep watching. It's coming up in a moment. Why are people saying Bezos' charity is just another billionaire scam? If you've been following the news recently, you'll know Bezos announced he'd be leaving the bulk of his gargantuan fortune to charity. Many are saying this is a tried and tested way for the ultra-rich to polish their public image, while at the same time dodging the taxman. Bezos, according to the undercurrents on social media, is trying to get everybody to believe he's a really chill guy, regardless of all the evidence to the contrary. During an interview on CNN, it took Bezos an anguished 8 minutes to explain the enormous difficulties he's experiencing with the process of donating the largest chunk of his wealth to charitable causes. Considering his worth is pegged around $119.5 billion, this isn't chump change. He wants to do it in a levered way, and that's what he's struggling to figure out. According to him, it's easy to do ineffective things, so doing it right takes careful thought and a brilliant team of advisors. However, social media commentators are saying he's doing this like other highly effective altruists of his ilk. He's starting with what they call the low-hanging fruit, like the $100 million Dolly Parton donation. That, they say, is an obvious starting point. One billionaire trying to make the world believe he's idealistic and altruistic by donating money to another billionaire, in this case, Dolly Parton. Soft power is something that can be compared to sleight of hand, and this may well be what Bezos is after. To find out exactly how soft power operates, stay with us. We're bringing you that shortly. But is Bezos trying to rehabilitate his reputation? Many say yes, this is exactly what he's doing, and he's pulling his strategy straight from the playbook Bill and Melinda Gates wrote. After all, they're saying his brand was tarnished the moment he became known as the liberal and preferred billionaire of the Obama-nauts back in 2008. Other things have taken a reputational toll too. There's biometric surveillance, for instance, and alleged worker exploitation. And then there are many years of tax avoidance too. Add to that the fact that his negligence as CEO of Amazon may have caused the deaths of 12 people, then drastic measures are called for. But there may actually be more to the story. Bezos traveled quite a road to this Damascus moment. Those that know are saying the whole move is crudely tied to profit, that there is simply no other motivation. They're linking it to the example Elon Musk set at Twitter when he laid off around 10,000 people, and they're speculating that this is what Bezos is eyeing. Then, this could all be about soft power. 2022's rising inflation has made public spending habits completely unpredictable, and Amazon has reported its slowest growth in 20 years. As soon as reports of trouble at the mill start doing the rounds, investors will get spooked, and this will drive Amazon stock to the edge of the cliff. There is, however, an accumulation of something called soft power that could be playing a role here too. value. A recent review of scholarships tied to elite giving says this soft power is often a motivator that is inextricably linked to charitable donations. And this could be as important for Bezos personally as it is to keep his stock value buoyant. The review is called Elite Philanthropy in the United States and United Kingdom in the New Age of Inequalities. Yep, that's a mouthful. But in it, the authors put forward an argument that warrants a second look at the bigger picture. They say philanthropy by the elite is seldom a pure gift that finds motivation in altruism. Instead, it's designed to convert surplus funds into all kinds of alternative capital. This kind of philanthropy is often more a way to stay unimpeachable while acquiring complementary forms of capital to sustain effective functionality in the circles of power. Bezos' stock price is up in the air, and there is no doubt he's hankering after his glory days. Back then, he could buy 2 years worth of 0% income tax for the $100 million he donated to the Obama administration. That was an easy and smooth ride. The public response to all of this is interesting and somewhat unexpected. Keep watching until the end to hear the opinions of the man in the street. And US politics have shifted since the Obama days. A few years have passed, though, and the liberal backing he could rely on is less certain now. More than 85% of Democratic voters have expressed their support for higher corporate taxes. In the UK, at least 52% of voters have the same inclination, regardless of many years of government shilling for big companies. The soft power Bezos relied upon to open doors, especially that of the White House, diminished substantially. While President Joe Biden's support of the Amazon union on Staten Island earlier in 2022 may have been mostly aesthetic, it did reflect a public opinion shift, and it was noticeable. Andrew Carnegie once said that proper wealth administration was essential to create ties of brotherhood between the rich and the poor. This may well be what Bezos is channeling here. Optically, this US administration is favoring working people. While Bezos may have hoped that his charitable announcements would be met with floods of praise, he got little more than a trickle. Finally, what does the public say? When the billionaire announced on CNN, the network had a discussion with Benjamin Soskis, a notable philanthropy researcher. He admitted that not a lot is known about Bezos' plans and that he can impact the world in many ways. Soskis then went to a place where others hadn't been prepared to go. He made the comparison between Bezos and his ex-wife. Mackenzie Scott, Soskis said, has an incredibly powerful brand of philanthropy and has gained more favorable acclaim than almost any other mega donor in the United States. None of Soskis' comments actually call out Bezos as a poster child of philanthropists, trying to use capitalist terms to address capitalist ills. We are made aware of something rather important. Public support for all forms of philanthropy remains high, even amid negative headlines that tarnish billionaire brands. Recently, a published study claims that 85% of Americans believe philanthropists play an important part in society. Around that same percentage, however, disapproves of the tax breaks so many wealthy people get when they start charitable foundations. So there is a modicum of public recognition of the role of charitable foundations in providing shelter for the fortunes of the mega rich. And in case you didn't know, this uber rich only need to spend 5% of their asset value on advancing their charitable aims annually to reap the benefits. Wealthy people frequently speak of the difficulties of charitable giving, and according to Soskis, this is all about attempts to justify their huge wealth accumulation. They plant an idea with the public that philanthropy is hard. It's not just about writing checks. It takes discipline and engagement. Well, many are calling that a crock, an apparent attempt to legitimize the status of extravagantly rich individuals. And folks, on that note, we're ending this video. Please do remember to hit the like and follow button, and remember to keep a lookout for our next upload.